it's TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. And in today's video we are getting straight down to it. What we're going to be discussing is Barcelona's defensive problems, because we have right now sincere problems at the back and right the way through the team. That's the first thing to note right now. It's not just about the defence, it's not just there about the defensive minded players where all the fault lies. This for me is right throughout the team, and that's the big problem. For me, it's a structural problem, it's a question of mentality, a question there of work ethic. Barcelona right now, defensively, just like we saw last night, yet another example. It's woeful and it needs sorting, and very, very quickly. In today's video, it's all discussed. We have to get down to business. Let's do it. And I've got to start by saying, guys, yet again yesterday, just like we said in the match review, this is something that you can't ignore. I believe this video for me, I've been thinking about doing it now for several weeks, because week upon week upon week, defensively, we are wide open. Any team, doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what quality players you have, you come against us, you'll get a chance. You'll get several chances in front of goal. We will allow you time and space, and that can't happen. And yesterday, we won, we got away with it, we got lucky, but like I said in the match review, we won't keep getting lucky. Eventually, we will get what we deserve, and when we do that, it'll be embarrassing again. And let's kick off here with some quick stats on Barcelona's defensive fragilities. And we'll start right here with the league goals conceded by the league leaders in the top countries right now in Europe. We'll start here with Liverpool. They've conceded 7 goals after 9 games in the Premier League. They're currently top, of course, and even by Liverpool standards, they're talking as though they haven't been good defensively. They feel they're a lot worse off than last season, particularly without Alisson, of course, for most of the season. They've suffered. They've conceded 7. Juve, 7 after 8 games. Mönchengladbach, who are top of the Bundesliga after 8 games, they conceded 7. Barcelona there, the only team into double figures, they are on 10 goals conceded after 9 games. And you might look at those stats there, you might say Barcelona are not all that far away from their competitors. We'll have a look at this one here. In the Champions League, this one is damning of Barcelona's defence. It really, really is. Because we're going to add Man City in there instead of Mönchengladbach, Liverpool, City, Juventus, Barca. What you're seeing there is the shots that we've conceded so far in the 3 Champions League group stage game. Combined there, the amount of shots each of those teams have conceded in those games, because Man City there lead the way in the shots conceded. They've only conceded 21 shots in those 3 games so far. Juve have conceded 25, Liverpool 28, Barcelona 48. 48 shots. That is over double the amount of shots conceded that Man City have, nearly double Juventus, and that's ridiculous. You allow a team to have that many shots on goal, have that many clear-cut chances, you will concede goals, and it'll be terrible. And that's what we're seeing, and that's what we're going to continue to see until we fix this. And we are going to come on to the structural problems at Barcelona right now, right throughout that team. We're going to be looking at some examples in 2 of the Champions League games so far and breaking those down. Before we do that, though, I want to talk about something very, very simple. In a minute, we're going to talk about pressure on the ball. We're going to be talking about pressing and the way that teams can break us down so easily. But let's here talk about one thing. Let's talk here about hard work. Something that no matter who you are, no matter what quality player you are, doesn't matter what your name is, you have to work hard in any team. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter who you play for. You look at the best teams. You look at Liverpool last season. You look at Manchester City. You look at Pep Guardiola teams. You look at every single player. What's the one thing they all do? They all work hard. They all work hard, and they all work hard for the team. You've got to demand that. As a coach, you've got to demand that every player works. You've got to get the best out of them. You've got to motivate them to go out there and run. And as players, you've got to take responsibility there to feel like you're playing for that badge. You're playing for Barcelona, so the very least you can do is go out there and give your all. And it's not just about watching the game. It's not just watching the game and saying, look, we don't look as though we're running. We don't look as though we're working hard as a team. It's clear. It's clear there in the stats. We're not. Last night, Slavia Prague, as a team, ran over 15 kilometres more than our guys. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous there. To be not only played off the park, but also run off the park. At least play with some dignity. At least play there with some heart. Barcelona, we don't work hard enough. And this is where we are going to start to discuss now, structurally, where the problems lie for Barcelona. And like I say, it's not just about here, these defenders. Yes, certainly, at many points in the game, these defensive players could have done a lot more. But it's about right throughout that team, how you set yourself up with the ball, and most importantly, without the ball. Because without the ball, you've got to set yourself up to win that ball back. And ultimately, don't allow yourself to be cut apart. The problem for me starts right here with the front three. You've got Suarez leading the line. You've got Messi here from the right-hand side. But as we know, he comes inside. Then you've got Antoine Griezmann playing at the moment out there on the left. Now, the only player really in that front three who was working at all for that team, sometimes there might be a bit of pressing, sometimes there might be a little bit of tracking back, but mostly the only player working is Antoine Griezmann. And I think really that's from his Atletico days. Working with Diego Simeone, you've got to work back, you've got to help your team, you've got to get in the trenches and work. And certainly he still has that about him now. And ironically, he was the man taken off yesterday. Absolutely incredible there for Valverde to do that. Suarez up here, for me, doesn't really do an awful lot. He used to be somebody who really harried the opposition, he got in their faces, but obviously now, as he's getting older, he doesn't really do that anymore. Messi, as we know, as he's got older as well, has also started to drop off in the intensity side of things. He may spend much of the game walking around, but come alive in the big moments. And to be fair, with somebody like Messi, you could make allowances, but you can't do that with more than one player. You can't even really do that with one player. You need everybody working in unison, everybody there working to a structure. And we're going to analyse now exactly in two different games, exactly the same problems appear, and they will continue to until we get it right. And let's kick right off here with the game against Inter at the Camp Nou. They took the lead in that game, and actually at 1-0, it could have very easily been 2-0. And I watched this moment in the game, and I've watched it back so many times since, because it amazes me. It amazes me how easily Inter get from their own box, and they actually play like we used to. They play it out the back, they cut us apart, they're ruthless in their passing, they're really quick in their transition, and just watch here. It starts with Handanovic, we move it on here, they play it out there to the centre-back, and as you can see, straight away, Antoine Griezmann, like we were saying, he's the first line of engagement, he's the man there who's going out to press, and of course he tries to get involved. Suarez out here on the right-hand side, pretty standing still. Then there's Messi, who's getting his way across. Now Barcelona try and gather around Inter as they're playing it out here, into the centre-back, and then goes back to the goalkeeper again, and as you can see, Griezmann there, really, really high. Inter, though, managed to escape. They get out there into the right-back area, then suddenly there's a pass wide open on the left-hand side, and suddenly all those spaces are starting to appear, because you've got to get that press right. If you get it wrong, suddenly then all that space opens up in behind, and Barcelona don't close down the spaces. And most importantly, what you'll notice right throughout all of these screenshots, they don't sense danger. They play it out wide there, and again, look at the space they've got to pick that pass. You can see there at the bottom of the screen, Alexis Sanchez is calling for that ball. Nobody senses the danger. They work it into Sanchez, and then they can just play around him. He pops it off. Again, a lot of space there. You look at on the left-hand side, Sensi is waiting in acres of room, and of course he receives the ball there. And just look here, he receives it just about inside the Barcelona half, and of course we're trying to make our way back, but look how far we let him run before actually closing him down there, before crowding him out. Look how far he goes without a single tackle actually put in there. He gets right the way to the Barcelona box, then it's a sort of half-hearted effort to close him down. He's able to play the ball there into Lautaro, and look at the space. Again, look how far we're standing off them. We're just saying, yeah, go on, do whatever you want to do. We are able to play it back there into Sensi. He's got all the time in the world there to have a shot on goal, and that's what I mean. That's the way that we give away so many of these shots, and Sensi there was so close to a wonderful goal, what would have been there for Inter Milan, but ultimately, you could have stopped that at several different stages there, get a bit tighter, put a bit more pressure on, close down the space, but we just let it all unfold. We're happy there to just watch players run past us, advance upon us, and then take on their shots. It's ridiculous. And lo and behold, here we are again, exactly the same sort of situation last night against Slavia Prague. This is where their goal comes from, and actually, it starts again with the opposition goalkeeper. It's Messi this time is closing him down, but as you can see there, there's no real intensity from Barcelona. One man closing down the goalkeeper. What about when the goalkeeper plays it out? There's three men there, completely and utterly unmarked, to do what they like, pick up the ball, ease themselves into it, start their move, and that's exactly what Slavia do. They play it out there to the centre-back. Suarez now starts to get involved there in the press, but again, we're standing off. Into the midfield now it goes, and again, nobody's really very close. Slavia then move it around their centre-backs, and they're starting to move out wide here, and again, there's so much room. That is the constant theme here. There's so much room, there's so much time, there's so much space. They play it in here to their midfield player, and as you can see there, he receives the ball with his back to our goal. He's really far inside his own half. There's no real danger on. But the problem is, Barca are so haphazard. They're so happy to let teams play and let teams really get on top of us in games that we don't actually close anybody down. We let him pick the perfect pass. He's with his back to goal, but no, we allow him to turn, have a bit of time, get his head up, have a look. He sees a runner, and these players aren't stupid. They're professional footballers. If you see a run, if you've got that amount of space and time, you'll pick that pass. And that's exactly what he does. He picks out there, there, his striker on the run, and suddenly there, with 2 or 3 passes, we're cut apart. And that's lack of pressure on the ball from Barcelona. And that's ridiculous. That shouldn't happen at the top level. They're in behind us now, and just watch this. Look how far again we let the centre forward advance before we actually do anything. We are so hesitant to actually go and engage that pressure. It doesn't happen from Barcelona. We let him run there, right to the edge of the area. Again, there's 3 players around him. Nobody really tries to make a tackle. Nobody takes a risk. We let him run and run and run. He's waiting for support. Then he plays it into his friend. We don't make the tackle. We don't make the challenge. Jordi Alba is there, ball watching. He doesn't sense the danger. Neither does Piqué. And look, again, a man advancing into our own penalty area. And he's even got time to take a touch. He doesn't even hit that ball first time. He has time there to take a touch, get it out of his feet and bury the finish. And like I say, you do this against Slavia, you do this against any team, you will get punished. And if Barca don't sort this out, if they don't up that intensity, if they don't actually start there engaging some pressure, working a bit harder, we're going to continue to get picked apart. We really are. And that's the thing, guys. That's the way I describe it right now. Barcelona are caught between one or two things. They want to press. They want to try and make it look as though they are pressing, but they're not really doing it with that intensity. And that's actually worse than not pressing at all. If we were to be a defensive team, if we want to sit back, actually defend there with some real structure and solidity about us, maybe we'd be better. Maybe we'd actually be better if we were properly defensive. But right now, we're stuck between two things. We're not really pressing with the right intensity, but we're not sitting off either. We're caught in between, teams are picking us off, and we're in real trouble. If these players can't give that effort, if you're not doing it to your full intensity, if you're not pressing there with the right attitude, you will get found out, you'll get picked off, you'll get punished. And it simply can't go on like this. And it really is so disappointing for me, guys. You look at the team we have, you look at the players, and there's real quality there. But the basic foundations that should come from the coach, these messages should be coming from Valverde. He should be trying to correct these kind of mistakes on the training field. But as we know now, it's a constant theme. Since he arrived, these problems have not gone away, and they don't look like going away either. And that's the disappointing thing. What do you think, though? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Where do you think Barcelona's struggles lie? Where do you think the problems are in our defensive setup? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you, as always, for watching. I appreciate you coming back, guys. Even in these sort of times, it's appreciated. I'll see you soon, but until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.